Introversion is a type of personality that many extroverts have trouble comprehending because they tend to be more outgoing. It can present itself in a variety of ways, but the most common sign is that the individual goes out of their way to avoid being in social situations. On the other hand, introverts aren't inherently reserved or antisocial. They simply require more time to themselves than other people do. And while this personality trait can be a source of strength and perseverance, it also means that introverts are frequently misunderstood, and others who do not know them well may find them to be scary. Keeping this in mind, here are 7 characteristics of introverts that could make other people feel uncomfortable. 1. They like to keep a low profile and steer clear of any conflict. You are aware that some people find it difficult to avoid getting involved in conflict, right? Now, introverts are the complete opposite of extroverts. They don't typically make a scene or cause any kind of disturbance. They aren't the type of people that actively seek out arguments, and they normally don't like to be the center of attention. Nevertheless, they can be intimidating when they don't speak up or when they assert themselves in a setting in which there may be some conflict or dispute among the people who are engaged. This can happen either when they speak up or when they assert themselves. 2. They have an exceptionally high intelligence level. Introverts typically have an above-average intelligence because they are typically avid readers and have a greater chance of having a high level of education. You can anticipate that they will have a great deal of information regarding history, philosophy, science, and other fascinating topics. And while introverts do appreciate having intellectual conversations with others who share their interests, they have no interest in engaging in idle chatter or small talk that doesn't advance the topic at hand or provide anything of worth to the debate. They would rather be productive with their time than waste it gossiping about the romantic lives of celebrities. 3. They are capable of being brutally honest. Introverts do not shy away from being truthful or from expressing opinions that are not shared by others. The vast majority of them have no issue articulating their thoughts in full, regardless of whether or not others are interested in hearing them. They aren't afraid to say exactly what's on their mind, and they don't censor themselves out of concern for how others will see them as a result of what they say. This can be daunting because the introvert won't pretend to agree with everything you say. They may call out your flaws or openly disagree with your point of view. This can be intimidating because the introvert won't pretend to agree with everything you say. 4th, they have a very serious attitude towards everything. Because introverts take everything very seriously, you can usually count on them to have a laser-like focus on whatever it is that most excites them. They are not readily daunted or sidetracked by the interests and activities of other individuals. In fact, they most likely find them to be dull. If you haven't dealt with someone who is so confident in their own preferences before, this may come out as pretentious and arrogant to you. 5th, they provide challenging questions. Conversation is not merely a way for introverts to kill time. Rather, it is a way for them to clarify and grasp the world. They want to ensure that they are aware of everything that is going on and utilize communication as a tool to accomplish this goal. Having said that, in comparison to the casual queries that other people would ask you, such as, "How's your day going?" for example, it might feel quite scary when an introvert asks you a specific inquiry that makes you think. This is due to the fact that it gives you the impression that they already know more about what you're saying than you do. As a result, your brain goes into overdrive attempting to figure out how they knew all of that information before you did. 6th, they have a good handle on their feelings. Introverts do not find it easy to become enraged, and they are skilled at keeping their feelings under control. They are also often reasonable, which means they are less prone to be overly sensitive to the environment around them. Because introverts are reserved, self-contained, and courteous when interacting with others, some people may find them intimidating. This is especially true in social situations. This does not imply that introverts never get angry. Nevertheless, in general, introverts are not as prone to emotional outbursts or spectacular flare-ups as some extroverted persons might be. 7th, their tendency for introspection can give the impression that they are aloof. When you're spending time with an introvert, it's easy to get the impression that they're cold and unapproachable. They may give off the impression that they do not care about the people around them, or that it may be tough to get close to them. But in reality, they are just preoccupied with doing the things that they want to accomplish in their own time. Because introverts are so in tune with themselves, they don't require the approval of people or the distraction of ever-present activities in order to feel fulfilled by life. They also have a propensity to keep their inner selves mostly private, which means that when you do manage to attract an introvert's attention, it will feel like a huge accomplishment. 8th, they are good at reading people. Introverts have a keen ability to observe their surroundings and see nuances that extroverts may overlook. They have an uncanny ability to read people like a book and are not easily misled or fooled in any way. This instills a sense of dominance in introverts, which can be intimidating to others who may try to take advantage of them. 9th, they are not afraid to break social norms. It's possible that the fact that introverts don't care what other people think is one of the characteristics that makes them the most terrifying. Because they do not consider themselves to be a part of the general population, they do not place a significant amount of importance on social conventions. The majority of people would rather spend time by themselves where no one can judge them based on how well they conform to some arbitrary standard set by society than to feel compelled by the expectations of other people or to work hard to ensure that they do not fall short of these expectations. This is because when introverted people are alone, no one can judge them based on how well they conform to some arbitrary standard. 10th, they are self-sufficient. Introverts don't require the company of others in order to be happy, and they don't experience feelings of loneliness when they are alone themselves. In fact, the majority of introverts would rather be by themselves than in the presence of other people. They are content engaging in activities on their own and do not require consistent interaction with others in order to have a good time or to feel good about themselves. They do not take pleasure in being with other people, but they will only do so when it serves a purpose for them, which is not very frequently. 11th, they are intrinsically motivated. Due to their inner orientation, introverts are driven to act on more fundamental internal convictions than on superficial, exterior ones. Consequently, introverts are resistant to being influenced by opinions about how they need to fulfill their dreams. They are less likely to be worried by what other people think about their chosen course of action. If at all possible, they always act independently and do not take into account the opinions of others. Because they don't benefit from compliments either, introverts are less concerned with what other people think of them. Although they like receiving accolades, their motivation is not fueled by transient benefits. Other people couldn't simply pull them down as a result. Introverts might easily maintain themselves, making their adversaries fear their independence. Lastly, they stand by their convictions with enthusiasm. Though not all introverts are steadfast in their convictions, mature and adult introverts are. They believe they have their own timing to follow and don't want anyone else interfering with their business. When making decisions and deciding on a career path, introverts especially want people to leave them alone. As a result, kids develop into independent adults who are better at working by themselves. They even function well at work, requiring less supervision than extroverts who are more apt to cooperate in groups. Because they have their own methods, introverts just cannot allow others to disrupt them. First and foremost, they are considerate of the lifestyles and preferences of others. Therefore, they also require their respect. For those who have known an introvert for a long time, they are not particularly intimidating. They only frequently intimidate those who are still unsure of their true selves and thought processes. They seem lively, vivacious, and careless when they're around people who are close to them. The truth is that introverts are just driven by different objectives and ideals than extroverts are, despite the fact that it is simple to see how these characteristics could be perceived as threatening by others. They have their own approach to life, and it appears to be working well for them. Introverts aren't intentionally intimidating, they just have a tendency of coming across that way to those around them. How about you? What do you think? Have you ever noticed any of these characteristics with anyone you know? Tell us in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and tell your friends about it so we can keep making them. To be notified when we upload a new video, click the notification bell and turn on all notifications. And remember to press the subscribe button for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time!